All right, guys. In today's video, we're doing something very different. I'm waiting for Shadowverse to come out and hopefully Clash Mini in June, although it doesn't look like it because they haven't said anything. So in the meantime, I'm just entertaining myself with Clash Royale and just recently started dabbling back into Edison format Yu-Gi-Oh! Peak of the Beak is May 20th, which is a online Edison major tournament. So decided to get some of the rust off. It might be a little too late to get the rust off because I have less than a week before it begins, but I had a game against Machina Control today that I thought was like kind of funny, and I haven't posted in a while, so I figured why not. Very new to Vayu Turbo. I basically played Hero Frog for the last like year and a half or so, and I won my last like 6 locals in a row with it, but it unfortunately has a really bad matchup into Forgs, which is really popular now, and I don't really have enough time to teach myself how to play Forgs at a high level, and I have this like maybe even unreasonable fear of just trying to get my substitute plays going and getting oppressioned. And the reason why I'm kind of drawn to Vayu Turbo, I've been watching Edison for years now. Watch all the major channels, like I watch Fraser's channel, I watch Oscar's channel, and so on. And it can basically it has game no matter what. And that's something that I really enjoy, like almost like no matter what hand you draw, you can play the game, which is nice. I've tried decks like Machina Control because it's more like my style, but it's just too inconsistent if you draw too many pots, if you draw Fortress without machines. It's weak to oppression. Fortress gets hosed by like every trap in the game. Another deck I'm working on is Twilight. But anyway, if you'll notice, I'm not running any deck devastation virus in here. And that's because I really want to try and main deck the oppressions now that Gigavice and Forgs are more prominent than they have been, especially online. I've seen like in the in-person tournaments that are not as common, but I see them a lot online. And so I just wanted a blowout card against them. Also, GBs just keep gaining popularity, and GB goes back its cost, so Royal Oppression is just great there. But other than that, it's very standard value list. I'm just siding the deck devs over the oppressions, and also since I'm a little out of practice, having an oppressive card, pun intended, just seems like a good way to balance things out. Deck Devastation Virus is also oppressive, but you need, it has a requirement other than just activating it. And, Oppression just feels like a total blowout sometimes. So, I got the 2 Armageddon Knight, the Gale, the 3 Sirocco, 3 Vayu, 2 Caius. Caius is really good, obviously, but sometimes I wish it was like 1, and sometimes I wish it was 0. But the 2 has been working out really well, and obviously flipping a Ryko and then tributing it for Caius, and we all know that it's just broken. Right? Ryko Hamster Caius engine is really good. Card Trooper is insane. Honorary Lightsworn's been one of my favorite cards for like 15 years. I don't know. Chaos Sorcerer is like hit or miss, but having another bomb that you can just special is really good. It does have some synergy problems with me maining Oppression. This could be a card that I could cut. I could see myself cutting like 3 cards. I'm not sure which 3, and going to 3 Upstart Goblins, because if you take note, there's so many limited and semi-limited cards in Vayu Turbo that there's so many bombs in the deck that getting a card deeper just seems really, really powerful in this deck. It might be the deck that it's the most powerful in Upstart. So, that's just something I'm thinking about. Dad's insane. Greffer's insane. Necrogardena's this is the best deck for Necrogardener and for Plague. Both insane cards. And then the Ryko double hamster. I think triple hamster is too much. And then Allure, Brain Control, Burial, Charge, heavy MST Rhoda. It's just the spell suite we see in all these Vayu Turbo decks. And then 2 Bottomless, 2 Deep Prison, 1 Mirror Force, 1 Return, Torrential, Trap Dust Shoot, 2 Oppression. I hate this card. I wish this card didn't exist. And I don't just hate it because it's stupid. I hate it because when you draw it at mid-game, against a lot of decks it's dead. It's really never dead against a deck like Frogs or something, but they don't care if you take a card out, man. They got like salvages, and they just don't care. Like maybe games 2 and 3, if you get like a Kaiash or something, that's cool, but I don't know, man. Like, it's a blowout card if you draw it early, and like you take the key card out. I get it's broken, that's why it's in here. But I hate having cards that are not good half the time, and whenever you're going second, I side it out, and just whatever. The Cyber Dragons always come in for the hamsters games. Games that I'm going second at least. And then really good against the matchup today, obviously. I'm testing 1 Kaiku and 1 Fossil Dyna. I'm not sure if I want 2-1, or which one I want 2 of, which one I want 1 of, so I'm just doing a 1-on-1 split at the moment. We got the triple Dust Tornado, anything back row heavy, Black Wings. Solemn Judgment, I'm siding it. I've been swapping, like if I know I'm going, I don't know, you really want the Judgment when you know you're going first, but I have been swapping out the Dust Shoot for the Judgment if it's something weird like Light Sworn or something like Summon Dependent, you know, like even getting like an inherent, oh sick. I was going to say even like getting an inherent Fortress is really good. Let's see. Usually I play cards like Judgment or Road or something if I'm siding in like Floodgates, but I'm maining the Floodgate. So this is just something I've been testing out. It has been working, but also it's just an answer to whatever they're siding against you, which is pretty cool. The double deck dev, you know, no need to talk there. I want to test Needle Sealing against Forgs. Haven't played against it yet since I put this in. In this video, I had Lightning Vortex, but I do want to try Needle Sealing because, you know, it should be good against Gigavice, Forgs, Blackwings go wide, and you know we can set our Raikos and Hamsters, not blow them up, but it still goes towards the count, which is good. Testing Zombie World over Mask of Restrict because it doesn't get blown out by Zombie World. I mean by Royal Decree, and I'm siding the Mind Control. I don't know if this is like too cheeky because once you know you're in the mirror match and people know about it, I don't want to take like a Necrogarden or like a Vayu or something like that. You know, you're hoping it's going to be a Raiko or a Hamster, but it might not be. So this is another card I'm not sure of. I might go like triple Zombie World just to screw Frogs over. So I would side like, you know, Kaiko, Dyna, triple Needle Sealing or double Needle Sealing with triple or double Zombie World against Frogs and just really, really hate on that matchup. And then the extra deck is like super staple. But yeah, I think I played the match okay. Like I said, I'm just starting to get into Vayu Turbo, and it's just because I really don't have enough time to play Forgs. Like I said, I have an irrational fear of getting oppressioned when I play Forgs. Also, just like when I was younger, I'll like, you know, practice my combos by like pulling hands, and I'll have really weird hands when I play Forgs where it's like double Salvage, Moray of Greed, Swap Frog, and like, you know, some other card that doesn't matter. So basically, like, I'll draw like too many spells, or I'll just like never get Substitute access somehow, and it's really weird. Like, I get it's a really consistent deck. A lot of people think it's the best deck game one, but there's just something like vulnerable about it whenever I've been testing it with friends or online, or even just, you know, playing solitaire. And that's what's kind of gravitating towards a deck that like I can just pick up and it plays, you know, no matter what. So that's enough yabbering. Let's get into the match. All right, here we go. So opening hand's really good, obviously. And my opponent opens extremely broken here, and it's pretty annoying. You won't see that until after some plays are made. They even play like really weird, and it doesn't matter because it just opens so well. So obviously, I know they're on Machina now. So my idea here is just to apply some pressure. I'm hoping to beat over the Lila with the Armed Wing and then attack for 17. And of course it's bottomless, and I'm like, okay, well at least I can crash, and you know, their graveyard doesn't look particularly impressive. They're far away from Avarice, all this kind of stuff, so you know, just gonna crash, not let them mill anymore. It enables their Avarices and their forces, so we go away here. What did I just set? Deep Prison? Yeah. And here they just pitch double Fortress to Special Fortress. I'm like, okay, cool, I have Deep Prison. And then they tribute it for Caius. So instead of just having like two, so basically they gave me the Caius over using Force and just, you know, having a Fortress removed, which I thought was, you know, a little weird, but this way they push a lot of damage, so I kind of get it, and I'm only on 3 cards. But just the fact that they're able to like special summon this much, remove my defense, push in for a bunch of damage seems pretty crazy. And then I draw a Burial, so I'm like, okay, maybe I can make something happen here. So I play the Burial, put my stuff back, making it 2,500 to beat over the Caius with. And then, so right here, I was actually getting a new fridge delivered today, and there's 2 houses on my property. And so I wanted to make sure they delivered to the right place. So I was actually talking to Lowe's on the phone while I was watching a YouTube video while I was playing. So I had a little bit of a brain fart right here. And I was thinking that Fortress's effect randomly discarded one, not that they looked and discarded one. Otherwise, I would have just set the Vayu so that way they didn't know what I said at least, but it didn't really end up mattering. But, you know, this does happen. But basically, I wanted to half the Fortress attack over. And then it would give me some play in the game, but we'll see. Yeah, so here I thought there'd be a chance he would just pitch the Vayu. Like I said, I was multitasking. My new fridge is sick, by the way. So he compulses, so he has another great, defensive trap. I lose my monster anyway because Fortress, is a decent monster. And then this would have been a mystery set, but I think he just would have crashed into it anyway. What's he going to do? Give me time? I don't think so. So, I set the bottomless. He has an MST. It's just one of these games where it just feels like there's really nothing I can do. And then I top deck the Dust Shoot, which is what I was talking about in the deck profile. So now I'm going into game 2. I'm a little salty because they drew really well. They were able to special summon Fortress. They had Caius. They special summoned another Fortress. So that was good. Good for them, right? So here I just set Vayu and Deprison. I'm like, maybe the Vayu will go away eventually. I can do something with it there. I can't summon anything else in my hand. I'm not going to set the Necro. I want to set the Vayu. But maybe a more experienced Vayu player can tell me why it should be Necro. And what my opponent's hand looks like now is kind of like how I draw with Machina, and that's why I don't really like it too much. All right, he just goes all in here, and of course I deprison because Fortress loses to every trap known to man. He said Avarice and Torrential, interesting. All right, so here I just decided I wanted to flip the Vayu and play the Necrogardener and just start poking, and I was hoping to bait something out. And I traded Deprison for Necrogardener, which I was really happy about. Oh, also, my thought process here was I'll have 2 things on the board now. And if one of them survives, then I have Caius fodder. So I was super fine with this play. And with their hands so low, I know Machina can't really, summon 2 creatures against me now. So, just setting up Caius, poking, baiting stuff out. All right, and he sets Hamster, and, I know it's going to be Hamster or Raikou. So I just tribute the Vayu for the Caius. I sided in the Vortexes because this guy liked to go really wide the first game. And I was like, it's just an easy way to get rid of Fortress because the attack thresholds, it being 25, gets over Arm Wing, ties with Armor Master. Fortress can be annoying for this deck once it sticks. So I just wanted a way to clear it and maybe another threat as well. And then we just pass. He sets another Raikou. So I just decided to take it slow because I haven't seen a Torrential or a Mirror Force yet. So I'm not trying to, just play into it. And I'm setting up, a future push or future backup play. And I attack with Caius, obviously, because it could be Hamster. But it's Raikou. He mills 3. Attack for 14. We big chillin'. How many darks do I have here? Oh, I have 3 darks here now. Now, there is an argument that maybe I should have gone Dad here and tried to pop stuff, but I really was just playing it slow. So, let's see. Oh, yeah, so he goes Hamster here, and I'm like, good. I can use Prio with Dad and pop it. Just basically never let him flip, right? Which is what I do. My caps lock was on. I did not mean to type yes in all caps there. I was like, yeah, that's totally fine. That's, a 2-for-1. Oh, 2 for 2, because, Armor Master. Armageddon Knight gave me a free creature in the form of Armor Master. So I'm like, cool, just keep applying pressure. I'm going to set the Torrential so that way if he finds a way to summon a Fortress or something, it's going to get ran over anyway. Oh, is he at 4 creatures? That's a bummer. That happens to me all the time when I would test Machina control, by the way. Another reason I don't like the deck. And here, like I said, I hadn't seen Torrential yet or Mirror Force, so, or excuse me, I hadn't seen Mirror Force yet. I just saw the Torrential. So I was like, I'm just going to play it slow. Yeah, and I would have walked into the Mirror Force otherwise. I think I just sent another Vayu here. Yeah, and then they just give up. So I don't think I did anything wrong with that game. Or at least anything that didn't, have logic to it. Like I said, I'm new to the deck. Not that it's like rocket science or something. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's overly complicated. Okay, so this is really cool. This is why I wanted to show this game in particular. So I draw for turn. So my thought process here is I see this return, and I've only played this card like 4 or 5 times in my life so far. And I have this Cyber Dragon, and I'm going second. So I'm doing the thing where you can apply pressure with Cyber Dragon and then make, like my other play, right? But I was thinking if this was a bottomless or a deep prison, I can return the Cyber Dragon at a later time of my choosing and contact his board away. So I was like really giggling to myself at this point. I sort of summoned the Cyber Dragon. It got bottomless. I'm all giddy inside right now. Like I'm really giddy inside. So now my thought process is I know he's not running Honest, and there's no more back row. So I'm gonna send Plague, make Goyo, take that thing, stack the Vayu, in phase mill the Vayu. That was my plan. Stops him from milling, sets me up pretty. I thought that was a good play. Don't know what else I'd really go for, because nothing else in my hand can run this over unless I Gale half, which I definitely don't want to do. So we go Goyo, we attack. And then I mill 3. And I end up milling 2 Vayus because I stacked 1. And then my opponent gets salty, says cool. And I'm like, I did stack 1 of them, so it wasn't like, all luck, right? Alright, and then I know this is his pushback point, but I don't care because I know if return resolves, I'm going to contact his board away. So I'm really hoping he just goes ham here because I just don't care. And I wasn't sure if he was like going to crash and, pop there. I wasn't sure what he was going to do. Yeah, and so I just return, and I see why people love this card and hate this card. It's broken. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to contact fuse and just eliminate the threat. I'm not going to commit any more to the board. I'm not going to play any games. And then since all this is going through, I know it's not, another bottomless or a torrential, otherwise he would use it here, right? So I just figured it was either Mirror Force or D Prison, and it was a D Prison. And so instead of getting like super cute, I just tribute for the Caius and go for game. And I didn't think he had Gores because, Machina does run more traps than a traditional deck. I just wasn't getting that vibe from him. And I was going to swing a 28 first and then swing over the token. And then the most he could do with the Gores anyway is crash over my Caius, and I still have 2 creatures bigger than the Gores, and he only had 2 cards left at this point. So I just was not going to not go for game. I also have Mirror Force to stop the Gores as well. So even if he had Gores, it just would not have mattered at all. But the games did kind of like play themselves. It's not like it was some 5-head stuff, but I do like that the deck seems like it can just hang, and no matter what, you can basically play the game. Like one of the games, I think the first game or something, I had like just D Prison and 5 monsters, and I was still able to play. And here I've drawn 2 traps, only drew 1 defensive trap, and I was still able to play the game. And there's just a lot of decks in the format that suffer from having like a bunch of normal summons, and then you can't play. I mean, this deck does too, of course, but it just feels smoother. And then, that's why it's a top 3 deck, right? It's not a it's definitely tier 1. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, the breakdown. I think I'm going to keep, testing this over the next 4 or 5 days or so, maybe just a couple of matches here and there, nothing too crazy. Probably going to play in Peak of the Beak, I'm not exactly sure yet. It depends how comfortable I feel, but I'm really glad it's one match every 48 hours because I have like a business and a life. I'm not like a teenager anymore, so I really like that. The tournaments that allow us to do that. But yep, I will see you guys later.